We, dedicated and committed concealed carriers and our professional clients spend a lot of time with the pistol in really close, physically intimate contact with our bodies. And it has always perplexed me how little the shape of a holster has to do with the shape of the body. As far as concealment products go and concealment technology, we should be endeavored in the process of making holsters human. So, back in the middle of the previous decade, 2015, 2016, we started experimenting with forming organic shapes into our holsters. And our first experiment was the PHLster Classic, with the teardrop wedge molded in. And as our process and our thinking evolved, we transitioned to the Pro holster, which has a wider and rounder shape molded in, and it's on both sides. And we've paid a lot of close attention to how the bottom edges of this interact with the body. And one of the things that we learned in between these two things was the more specific the shape that's molded into the holster is, the smaller the cross-section of people that it will fit. So we're thinking about generally blending organic shapes into these holsters over time. Now, the next step, of course, was the Enigma system. And then, of course, you can combine these products with our new holster wedge kit, which works fantastic, and add to that our industry-leading educational resources. And with all these things combined, it has never been easier in the history of concealed carry for the millions of new carriers to achieve or even exceed the same level of comfort and concealment results, which took us years to accomplish, largely through trial and error. And we're doing this all without a single performance or safety compromise. So, the process of making holsters human. We're doing this not just by giving people the ability to easily and quickly fine-tune their gun to their body, but also by seamlessly integrating a gun into their life without having to change who they are or how they dress or how they present themselves to the world or change any of the activities that they're engaged in, and by giving our professional end users the highest quality and most efficient tools possible so they can focus on their work instead of their gear. And at every step of the process of making holsters human, it's presented us with some kind of milestone technical challenge to overcome. And that technical challenge spawns a new innovation. The Floodlight 2 has been our most significant technical challenge to date. And that means it comes with a really cool innovation. So you see, the main reason that these holsters aren't shaped like bodies is because when you're manufacturing them out of something traditional like leather or Kydex, you're starting with a flat sheet of material, which you then heat up in the case of Kydex, or wet in the case of leather, and mold it around a positive shape. And that means that you're going to wind up with a final product that is the same on the outside as it is on the inside. So, anywhere that we mold in a wedge into the holster, there's going to be a void on the inside. This is filled with nothing. It's just space that doesn't contact the gun, which means that after you can only go so far away from the shape of the gun before the holster stops functioning. There are critical parts of the gun that the material has to touch in order for the gun to fit and not just be a bucket, right? Starting with a sheet of material constitutes a major limitation in how far away we can get from the shape of the gun and how close we can get to the shape of the body. Now, here, let me grab an old model here. Now, in the case of the Floodlight, all of the critical fit is around the light. So everywhere that we want to put an organic shape is going to interfere with how we contact the light and get retention on the inside of the Floodlight. We can't move away from these shapes at all with this process and still have any retention. So when it came to thinking about where we want to take holsters and what our vision is for the future of these products, we couldn't just think outside of the box. We had to start thinking outside of the sheet. The future holsters that we want to be making starting now are just not possible to produce with a sheet of material. Now, what we could have done is we could have easily gone and made a cool new non-light bearing holster and avoided a lot of the challenges that we had with this project. But the technical challenge of applying this strategy to a design that's as particular as the floodlight was so significant that we thought if we can do this with the floodlight, we can do it with anything. So we're going to take the biggest challenge first and then work down from there. And then on top of that, our floodlight end users are among the most demanding and dedicated gun carriers in the world. So they're not going to be easy to impress. And then on top of that, they're really overdue for a product update. So with that being said, I am super excited to get into how we solved all this and show you what we've been working on.